Hello everyone, Desert Gardener here, and today I'm going to be tasting and reviewing all the sweet and mild peppers that I'm growing this year. So it's July 4th, and it's about 110 degrees outside. That's why I'm filming indoors today. And some of the peppers are doing well, some of them not so much. They just aren't handling that heat. So we'll talk about each of them individually. So first, I wanted to talk about the pepperoncini. Now, these have been doing pretty well, producing very well. Now, most people are familiar with them. Of course, they're probably used to seeing them in their more green state when you see them in restaurants. And they're very commonly pickled, mostly because they don't have a whole lot of flavor themselves. They have a Scoville rating of about 100, which is about as low as the scale goes. But this is my first year growing them, so let's check them out. There seems to be a lot of seeds running all the way down, so that's going to make it very difficult to de-seed and use them in dishes and stuff. Very crunchy, very soft, thin walls. Has a kind of a different flavor than a normal sweet pepper, a little bit more bitter, which is again probably one of the reasons people like to pickle them. But if you live in the desert, I do think this is a good pepper to grow. I do like it. But let's move on and go to the banana pepper. Now, banana peppers, yellow banana peppers, start out at a very yellow color. And these have also been producing very well. I have a ton of these growing outside, but they do eventually ripen to this sort of orangish red color. Now, they have a Scoville rating of about 0 to 500, so also pretty low. Now, they do have a lot of seeds in here as well. It's a little thicker than the pepperoncini. A lot more crunchy. Not a lot of flavor. I can taste just a little bit of spice, but not very much. It's a very mild pepper. So let's move on. Let's go to the pimento. Now, this is another one that's been doing very well. And I really like the size, shape, and color of these. This is also the first year I've grown this one as well. These usually start out green and go straight to red. It's a much thicker wall. A lot of seeds, but they're more towards the top in the placenta rather than running all the way down the pepper like the first two we have done so far. Much more thicker, much more crunchy. It does kind of have a bell pepper taste, but it's still very mild, even though it's supposed to have a Scoville of about 100 to 500. I'm not getting a lot of heat here, but I do really like this one. Out of the three we tasted so far, this is definitely my favorite. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Santa Fe Grand. Now, they do start out kind of yellow. This one's a little overripe, but it's the only one I had available at the moment. Not as many seeds. A little thinner. The pimento is actually a thicker one. This is a bit more sweet. It's kind of like a sweeter bell pepper. I do like this. This has a very sweet taste to it. Unlike, say, the banana pepper that had a little bit of an astringent taste. But I do like this. So they haven't been producing as well. I've only got a couple of these. I think if you live in the desert and it's hot, I would definitely recommend the pimento. They taste very well. They grow very well. germinated very well. So out of these four, I definitely recommend the pimento. Now there's a few others that I'm growing that I'm not able to taste right now because they simply haven't produced yet. Maybe a little too early in the year, maybe a little too hot. But I've also reviewed all these last year. The Mexibel, one of my favorites. They don't produce very well, but it's a really nice tasting pepper. And I'll link to the video down below where I tasted and talked about these a little bit more, as well as the Nata Pinot bell peppers, Chinese Giant. And this year I'm growing a Priscilla, but I've had very bad luck with Priscillas, so I also don't recommend that if you live in the desert. They don't seem to do very well in the heat. And last but not least, the Trinidad Perfume. Now, if you saw last year's video, you know that that's my absolute favorite pepper to grow. Very small little yellow peppers that have a very fruity flavor. They're a little small and hard to deal with, but when it comes to flavor alone, absolutely my favorite pepper. So out of the new stuff that I'm growing, I definitely recommend the pimento, especially for you desert folks, and the Trinidad Perfume if you're willing to put forth a little extra work. All right, like I said, I'll link below to last year's video where I actually taste some of these other ones that aren't ready yet. And if you got anything out of this, all I ask is that you hit the like button. And if you want to see me do the tomato tasting, I'll post that in a couple of days. And you'll have to subscribe to see that. So I'll see you in the next one.